Number 25, Florida State hosting Pittsburgh at Doak Campbell. Florida State hoping to avoid an 0-3 start in ACC play for the third time in program history. This is just before the half. Tommy Castellano spinning and somehow finding Landon Thomas, who boxed out the DB for a touchdown. Noles up 21-14 at the break on Thomas's second touchdown this season. Early third quarter, 3rd and 14 from the Florida State 16. Mason Heinchel evades the free rusher, throws cross-body to Desmond Reed in the back of the end zone. We're all tied up at 24. Reed's second receiving touchdown of the day. It'll be a 3-point game mid-fourth quarter. Jacarian Turner. Jacreon is what you say it is. Now 34-24, untouched, second touchdown of the game. So the Noles need to do work with less than 2 minutes left to go, and they would. Castellanos to Makai Danzy. Tackled into the end zone, second touchdown of the day, so you know the onside kick is coming. Failed recovery, and the Panthers would run out the clock and win this one 34-31. The road team has now won all 4 meetings since Pitt joined the ACC in 2013. And I mentioned Florida State in terms of being 0-3 in conference play. It was 2025, 2020, and 2009. The over cashes, and, well, Pitt didn't need any of the 10.5 here. They win nearly 3-1 on the money line. I'm Tommy Tran with Damien Harris, Bryant McFadden, and Bud Elliot. I've got the Florida State entourage here on this side. So, B-Mac, I'll give you first word, and let me just throw out what is a fact. Florida State has not won a conference game in 385 days, and that continues after today's loss. What happened today in a game in which the Noles were favored by 10.5?
I don't want to say it was a lack of effort, but clearly lack of execution and just being able to get the ball carrier down. I'm only talking about the defensive side. That's the most annoying thing that I watched today, watching Florida State against Pitt. A freshman quarterback, Mason Heinchel, freshman, true freshman, on the road. 385 yards of total offense from scrimmage. A true freshman on the road. Threw for 321 yards. Only 8 incompletions the entire ball game. Florida State defensively, they're undisciplined. You see poor rushing lanes from the defensive linemen. I've yet to see someone set the edge. The perimeter is always exposed against the defense. Poor tackling. Zone drop-its from the second-level guys are horrible. Linebackers have no clue where they're supposed to drop in zone coverage, not to mention in man coverage. All we saw was Pitt utilize the same game plan that Virginia used, Miami used. Expose the linebackers anytime they're in a matchup against the running backs. We have yet to cover a wheel route. We will continue to see a wheel route week in and week out until we cover it. There's a lot going on all 3 levels of the defense. If your offense scored 30 points, you should win ball games. Any level. If your offense scored 30 points, you should win ball games. You should not lose ball games when your offense scored 30 points. The last 3 ball games against Virginia, Miami, Pitt, you allowed 46, 28, and 34 today. That's losing football. Danny said during our pregame show, this is the most important game for Mike Norvell this season.
Said it all week. Mm-hmm.
And what happened? We haven't won an ACC game in over a year. Over a year. Execution, the scheme, the strategy, nothing is working. It's fool's gold. And you can say whatever you want to say about the offense. I ain't got nothing to say about the offense. If you score 31 points, Damien, we're supposed to win.
Yep, correct.
If I'm in the locker room with you and I say if you say you give us 31 points, we winning. We're not losing. We're not losing. Heck, when I was at Florida State, we only asked for 19. Bow your back and play football. If you're supposed to have the C gap, have the C gap. You got the B gap, have the B gap. You got inside leverage, have it. If you're playing banjo coverage on the running back, have it. Communicate. Simple math. You got zone, play your zone, bud. I'm going to play here. You stay there, I stay here. We cover them.
Man to man, I got that guy. You got that guy. Now, what I will say is beautifully said, first and foremost. I've never even done a deep dive on Alabama like that, so I can't even imagine if I had taken it to that level. But at least you dressed accordingly. That's all I wanted to say. At least you dressed accordingly. But you take it from here. I got nothing to say.
I don't think they're that good. I mean, that's probably pretty obvious here that they're now 3 losses on the season. But like, they had to revamp this roster from 2-10 last year. I thought their real effort was, hey, don't get fired, right? When they beat Alabama, I think that reset expectations probably in a bit of an unrealistic way. They played great against Alabama. Bama also played, not their best game. Clearly, if you've seen the results that have followed, from that. I don't think they're very talented on defense. Like, Darrell Jackson's good. We knew that they recruited edge rushers quite poorly out of the high school level. They tried to band-aid that with James Williams and some guys, and that's clearly failed. Like, they just don't have much talent on defense, I don't think. Now, some of these guys are okay, but like, who's a pro on this defense? It's
disagree.
DJ and a bunch of guys who are going to be going pro in something other sports.
Okay, the reason why I disagree with that, because we're talking college football, right? A lot of guys that play college football won't go to Sunday anyway. I played at Florida State. My senior year, I probably played against 3 wide receivers that probably were draft worthy, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you played against a team that's loaded with NFL pros on the offensive end. When you watch Florida State, when you talk about talent, sometimes when you watch ball games, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can tell if one player is more talented than the other.
Correct.
He's faster, he's stronger, he's quicker, he got more moves, he just has a God-given ability that the other player don't have. You see that. When you watch Florida State, you see people wide open. Mm-hmm. That's the issue that I have. That's not an athletic problem. That's not a talent problem. Mm-mm. Either it's not being coached the right way or you're undisciplined as a player. Either case, you're wrong, and you will be in position to lose.
You don't.
Wide open people every time.
I think they think because they wear that Florida State jersey that they are more talented than they are. If you watch them, they oftentimes play up against the better teams. I don't think they take some of these ACC games seriously.
That falls on coaching then.
Absolutely. And look, they were 7-18 under Mike Norvell following a loss. Like, he does not get them to bounce back. Now they're 7-19 following a loss under Mike. He does not get these guys to reset. I don't think he gets them to take ACC games seriously. If it's a Miami jersey or a Bama jersey or a Gators jersey or Clemson, they come out. I think they take it seriously. I don't think they take Pitt seriously, man.
When I played at Florida State, and even when I got drafted to Pittsburgh, and I'm pretty sure, Damien, you can kind of contest to this, I was afraid to mess up.
Come on now.
If I missed a tackle in the first quarter, I'm afraid that I might not play again, or I'm going to get cursed out in front of everybody. If I missed a tackle, if I didn't have proper containment, if I got beat deep, oh no, I don't even want to go to the sideline because I knew who was waiting for me. I know it's a different day and age in terms of coaching football. I can care less. You set the standard for what you will allow, and never allow something in a win you won't allow in a loss. Ooh. That's the thing, because when you win, sometimes you allow certain things. We're not really going to harp on that. Never allow something in a win you won't allow in a loss. These are unexcusable issues. Once again, a true freshman came into Doak and put up 34 points, almost 400 yards of total offense. Ain't got nothing to do with talent.
And can I tell you something else that's a big problem with Florida State is they always come out slow. They come out slow, lethargic, and they don't play the game. So comparing the two, when we played with that script A on our chest, we knew that came with a sacrifice. The sacrifice is what we put into work all week long. So then we went and took that out on our opponent from the opening whistle to the last whistle. Florida State doesn't do that. It's like they don't take what they went through last year and then take that and use that as motivation.
They weren't
to their
there
opponent.
last year.
Even still, the pride, the tradition of a place like Florida State, those expectations come, whether you were there last year or not.
They're high. Like, I've been fortunate enough in terms of my playing career. I was in football heaven. I was coached by Bobby Bowden coming out. Mickey Andrews, right, at Florida State, 2 legends. Then I get drafted to Pittsburgh, being coached by Bill Cowher, Hall of Famer, Dick LeBeau, Hall of Famer, and then in comes Mike Tomlin. So I've seen what building a championship culture looks like. I've seen what making sure accountability is emphasized every time you walk in the building. I see it. Players will only do what you allow them to do. Period. Parenting and coaching are identical. Your children will only do what you allow them to do. Period. It's the same with coaching. Man, listen, when you play football, it's your job to fight harder for longer. You might not always be the fastest or the strongest, but you would never allow someone to outfight you in your house. And just play, do your job. Listen, I'm sorry, but I cannot tolerate seeing people wide open all the time. We saw that against Virginia.
Yep.
We saw it against Miami. Again. So now what's the problem? Because that's why I disagree with Bud. It ain't about talent. Because we don't see people getting ran by.
Is that where you're getting to?
It's either coaching or you have undisciplined players.
But you say he allows it. I think he allows it in terms of the effort level of his coaches in recruiting. I don't think they work as hard as Napier's guys. I know they don't work as hard as Mario's guys.
They do not.
But see, that's the thing. It's like at some point in time, it ain't working.
Yeah, but it's $55 million to fire him.
The standard is this high. You can't come on. Like I really thought going into Clemson game we should be 5-2. At the Miami, that's what I was thinking.
Like preseason?
No.
After
we lost to Miami last week, we can get to Clemson 5-2. That's a plus, right?
Yeah.
Because expectations changed.
Right.
If someone would have told me, B-Mac, after winning 2 games last year, or Bud, the same thing to you, hey, you guys could win 8 games in 2025, I'd have said yes. But then when you beat Alabama, expectations change. Then even though you lost to Virginia, expectations still change. You played Miami pretty close. Now this is a winnable game. These are the games you're supposed to win.
This is the really disappointing one, right? Because UVA ended up being a pretty decent team. They won,
and it was on the road.
Yeah, it's double overtime loss. They ended up they went on the road and beat Louisville. You know, like that. They're actually a decent team. Obviously, Miami might be the best team in the country. We'll see, but they're certainly in that conversation. You know, you have a 2-score win over Alabama. Could have been even bigger. This is the one you go lay an egg that really pisses you off, right?
And I was just going to say, the final comment on this. This should be the game. If there's anybody out there that wants to still evaluate Alabama based on anything to do with a week 1 loss to Florida State, now is the time to wake up and realize this ain't week 1, this ain't week 2, this is week 7 of the college football season. And I know is with the playoff committee and what they're looking at, what their metrics are, yeah, it does make us go back to the past a little bit. We need to live in the present. Alabama's a good football team. Florida State just simply is not.
Right.
Which is crazy because we just got done talking about Alabama, how much that week 1 game changed, and the last 3 weeks for both teams have certainly changed. They're now 3-3, guys. Is this a season-ending crushing? Because they can still make a bowl game, they can still have a nice result, but given that this loss is 10-point favorites and everything that you talked about, B-Mac, in terms of elevated expectations, then readjusted expectations, Bud, what's the talk in Tallahassee going to be this week?
So look, last week, for all intents and purposes, eliminated them from conference play anyway because Georgia Tech has a schedule. They're not going to lose 2 conference games, right? Virginia is not going to go on to lose an additional conference game plus another one because you don't have the tiebreaker over them. Same thing for Miami. So last week they were done as far as the conference race goes. Like that's been done and dusted. The real question now is, are you going to spiral? Because last year you spiraled. You missed a bowl game.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Mike Norvell has not had a track record of pulling them out of a spiral very well. Like they have to go on the road at Stanford. That's a game you should win, right? Now you could say Pitt's a game you should win. I definitely thought they should have won that game. I didn't think I was going to cover against Pitt because I don't really have a lot of faith in Norvell to get this thing turned around. I just think he's there until the buyout gets reduced, to be honest. But like, you could lose that Stanford game, then you're kind of at risk of missing a bowl. If you beat Stanford, you beat Wake, you're going to end up making a bowl game, right? Vatek's kind of a shell of its former self. You got guys sitting out after the coach firing. NC State doesn't play a lot of defense, but I'm certainly not chalking that up as an automatic win there in Raleigh with how this team's playing right now. I think with the Miami loss, hey, you still got to make a bowl, still got to finish strong. I don't think the goals have changed. Like the degree of difficulty has just gone up a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, man, expectations change. But if someone said, you know what, you guys will win 8 games in 2025, I think all the fans would say we'll take that because we only won 2 games. But now it's about, can we get to that plateau of potentially winning 7 or 8 wins? Because Bud said something that's very, very key. Now keeping everything together because you're in the midst of chaos right now because of disappointment. And the criticism is going to come, right? Deserving so. That's the landscape you're in college football. But if you lose to Pitt and go on the road and you struggle against Stanford, because right now everyone is licking their chops at Florida State. So it goes from being 3-0 to potentially having a clear opportunity to get into the ACC conversation, to all of that squandered out of the window, to now hoping to get enough to get a bowl invite. Now that is disappointing and alarming. And then you factor in the rest of the way, you got Stanford, Wake, Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, Florida. Outside of Clemson and Florida, it's not like it's a sticky road for success. But if you play how you play today, you can't win none of those games, which would be a total letdown when you talk about starting 3-0 and one of those wins coming against one of the best teams in college football.
I hate that I've had to bring this up so many times, and I hate that I got to bring it up right now. A wise man sat in front of me one time in Tallahassee, Florida, and said, when you go into games, you're either looking for hell or you're looking for help. Right now, Florida State is looking for all the help they can get. That's all they looking for is help. They ain't
Who was that
welcome to
wise
help
man
right
again?
now. Can we pan over just one spot to the left, cameraman? Just one. This man right here, he's a very wise, sharp, handsome
yes, he
brother
is.
that I love looking up to and love learning from. He said to me,
I did.
Teams look for hell or help. And right now, Florida State is looking for all the help they can get.
It still can turn into a positive year when you talk about winning 2 games, but the only way you can turn this negative into a positive is look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm screwing up. I'm tricking it off out here. As a coach, as a player, everyone got to go down to the rock bottom of the pit and say, you know what, I am tripping. I need to do a better job. That's it. That's the only way we all become better as adults. Admit where you're screwing up. We all screw up. I'm tripping out there sometimes. Yeah, I am. I'm my bad, but I'm going to be better. Hold me accountable, I'm going to hold you accountable. But stay inside of me, bro. Stop letting this man cross your face and you don't cover him. Simple. That's what football is about. We ain't in class. I can be loud as I want to be on the football field. I ain't in no library. I ain't in no office building. I'm on the football field. Communicate. Dang, watch this man crossing your face.
I remember the days when they didn't care if the other team knew what we was running. If they heard our communication, if they knew our signals.
Let me know you hear me.
Call
so we're
it
on the same
and
page.
Run it.
All
That's
right,
what we
fellas.
do.
Plenty of time to still talk about Florida State. I'm sure
I'm
the
sweating
message
now.
boards and the chat rooms are going to still be going. 5-14 since that 13-0 start in 2023 seems like a lifetime ago. 8 straight ACC lawsuits for Florida State. That's the longest in program history.